Okay, so we continue. Where's Landau? He's not on? All right.
You had enough of last night, okay?
It's his sugya. I mean, it's his sugya.
You want 2 nights in a row?
I hear. We got to get him on.
You are pushing it.
You think with Kohanim would be okay. Iboilu. So again, so we're talking about that we left off on the bottom. We're on Lamed Chesam Abay's second line off from the bottom. So we were discussing that the tzibur has to be in front of the Kohanim. So the Gemara asks, what about on the sides? Right? What about on the sides? Very negay in shuls, right? Does the whole shul have to pile in front of depending on how many Kohanim they have, but does the whole shul have to pile into the middle of the shul? Right? So Omar Abba Bar Ravashi, Toshima, the Tanan, and this is from a Mishnah that talks about the paraduma, not the paraduma, but you have to take the Afer para, mix it with liquid, and then they sprinkle it on somebody who's Tomei Mace. So the sprinkling has to be done big kavana. Right? Let's say a guy sprinkles the water into the air, and then it hits the guy agav. So is that yotz? So you're not yotz because it was shalei kavana. So neschavin lahazis lefana. So let's say the person doing the sprinkling has kavana to sprinkle in front of him. Now we start today's daf. The hiza la'acharav, and by mistake it went backwards. Right? La'acharav hiza lefanav, or it went behind him, or he thought he was sprinkling behind him. Hiza lefanav, it went in front of him. Meaning, basically, his where he was planning on sprinkling, it didn't go. So hazah asay psula, the hazah is puzzle. Lefanov, right? If it goes in front of him, he's out studin shebefanov, but he does it on the sides that are in front of him. Right? So now that's an important line. That's an important line benegay to how to learn pshat in the Gemara. Right? He's out studin shebefanov. It goes on the sides, so it sounds like on an angle. From the Gemara, it's mashma. That it's on an angle. Oh, Naphtali is on. There we go. Okay, so hazah seksheira, his hazah is kosher.
I'm on. Or different Naphtali?
No, Naphtali. No, the
kohen. No. I made it a point to come on because I didn't want to miss. One
of the resident kohanim. We figured that he should show up tonight. Yeah. So, anyways, hazah seksheira.
It's hard to tell because they're both geniuses. It's very hard to tell.
Anyways,
we get mixed up a lot.
Also, there's a height. The height is So anyway, so the Gemara is clearly saying that the sprinkling that's in front on the sides, that's in front, that's mutter. Right now, the shaila is, what about the direct side? Right. See, so the Gemara is clearly saying, how do you say it? Meaning, if this would be the kohanim, so the side, it's saying that studin that are befana. But what happens if the people are mamish on the side? Right? So are they yotze? So Rashi says on the fourth line down, Rashi says, "V'hachanami ha'imdim b'studin shokayim heimenu lahalon b'chlal brachahin." They're the kalifnei dami. So Rashi is saying a chiddush, because if you just learn pshat in the Gemara, it says that those that are on the sides that are in front of him, right? But if somebody is directly to the side of the kohen, sounds like from the Gemara, they're not included in the bracha.
Is that what Rashi is saying? Don't they move their arms like this?
Oh, so yeah, I meant to look into that, but I didn't. What's the story with them moving their arms? Is that the pshat?
I don't know. I mean, that's what I was always saying. All the years I didn't go. I only the Mishagoyim, the from a Mishagoyim went to the beam in the yeshiva.
Right. Yeah.
Most normal people didn't go.
Naphtali Landau, your sefer on Duchening says that when the Kohanim move their arms like this.
Yeah.
Is that why they do that?
When you say certain words like Eilecha and all like that.
I know. So is that the reason why they're waving their arms? Because they want to include everybody in the bracha, even those that are not directly in front of them?
From what I understand, yeah, it means like to everyone. Like,
that's a different thing that you're saying. right? To say to everyone, and you're just making a sign that everyone means everyone.
Right, meaning you go around like side to side, like you're including everyone, not just straight in front of you.
No, but then if that's the pshat, then it doesn't sound like what me and Rabbanan always thought, that it's pshat that you're trying to include specifically everybody that's in that room.
But elecha to you, you have to go and you say to you to everyone here.
No,
you
but
move. Well,
yeah, but that's okay. I don't know. I would have to see the source. If you look in your book and you find,
I'm going to look in my book. Now I'm going to have to dust it off.
Please. Oh, so I want to tell you, I had to drive my kids. I listened a little bit to Rabbi Rosner. He had said some fascinating things. First thing he said over Rabban from the Chuvas Van Haggis, from Ramosha Sternberg.
Oh, yeah.
Based on yesterday's Gemara, that people in the field, right? If it's a whole city of Kehanim, so they might see everybody in the field. He decided, because he lived in South Africa, when he wrote this sefer, it's his first volume, he wrote in South Africa, he said, okay, so l'chayra, the Kehanim, even though we don't get the duchen every day, right? But the Kehanim, we could be yotze. So he appointed 2 different Kehanim with a shliach, and he paid them to have him in mind every day by duchening.
Yeah.
How's that for a geshmaka chumrah? So maybe we should try that. I never heard of
so those guys that you pay to daven at the kaisel for you.
Money already, that is,
where do I sign up?
That's how you do a chumrah, yeah.
This is where it started, with you pay the guy to daven to him for you at the kaisel and the Myra,
Okay, but this one, you have a Gemara that backs it up, that the Kehanim could be might see the people that are in the fields. Right now, I don't know why I have to look at it and see. I have to look up the Maramokam, but I don't know why he needed to appoint them specifically as shluchim. He must have a cheshbon for that, and then paying them obviously the same way you want the shliach to do your shlichus, so you pay him. But that was interesting thing.
Where do you see in Rashi that he's saying that directly to your side is considered lacharim? Rashi says avel shel achar mehemenu. Behind him.
Before that,
I know, but you mean something that Rashi doesn't say.
Then what is Rashi talking about? If
I don't know, but I don't think it's so cautious. It's brought down. It's brought down from the Mishnah Berurah that directly to your side is not considered. Is still considered in front of you.
Yeah, but
I don't think it's Rashi from Rashi either way, because Rashi
Stoves. When we start doing Daf Yomi with Rashi, we'll bring it up.
I wasn't the one who brought up. One second, I wasn't the one who brought up Rashi.
I brought it up.
You're continuing.
You have to listen to the first part of this conversation.
But Hachanami, I don't know how else do you understand Rashi.
But Rashi, how do you understand the end of Rashi? Rashi clearly saying what
he's saying. Basically, the way I understand it is Rashi saying on the line is fair ball. How's that for a sport?
I don't know. On the line, say it that way though. He says achar himenu.
But there are. I forgot who I looked it up from today that says that's what Rashi is saying. It wasn't my own chiddush. Trust me, I don't say anything on my own. But it's meduyik in Rashi like that.
I don't know. Okay, I don't know.
Okay, we could disagree. I don't know. I have to check the Mishnah Berurah. The Mishnah Berurah says that stides mamish no good.
That's what they bring down. Yes.
I have to look it up. I learned it mamish last week, but I have no recollection. Okay. Anyways, by the way, he said another thing, Rabbi Razan. According to the Gra, this is the way the Kehanim do their hands. All fingers over like I never heard that from my Sarah. Right? In Shayashim, they do this. Naphtali. Like this?
No, definitely not.
You don't know. How did anybody know? It's under the talus.
Because I've seen.
We never show a czar how we use our hands. So we just never do. That's how we're makabel.
Okay, listen. You can do it. Teach their own. But I don't know. I never heard that.
No, except for art scroll.
There you go. Okay.
Did Dr. Spock do it the right way?
I guess I don't know.
He was a Kayan.
Yeah, that's it.
What did you say?
What's his name? What was the guy's name?
Leonard Nimoy.
Nimoy, yeah.
Right. Loon Spot Prosper, right?
He was a Kayan.
Yeah, he's Nifter also. So
I understand. I said he was a Kayan. Yes.
Okay. All right. Let's go weiter. Okay. So Omar,
but this is based on the Zohar. The Zohar talk brings it back how you're supposed to hold the hands and stuff. I mean, that's as long as what it says in here.
Yes, that's true. The Mishnah Berurah brings pshat why you're supposed to hold your hands like this, because there's five windows from based on the pasuk of forgot.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Whatever, it says it somewhere here, whatever. So
Okay, let's do
Shirim. Whatever.
Never
Yeah.
seen a grave with that.
With the hands. Right. Yeah.
And I would think that the Birkus Kahanim preceded the Zohar, So,
Yes, that's a valid point, and a lot of the stuff from Birkus Kahanim does come from the Zohar.
Mhm.
Right. It's already it did in the Zohar. It's Erev like
Right, it's right.
Okay, so I'm a rub about that. Doesn't mean
So
you can
just to
shave
answer
that.
you on your
Doesn't
thing,
mean
it
you can
says-
shave the- Yeah.
It,
What?
it says that it's brought down from the word tanufa. That's why they go from left to the hands to right to left during that part.
But does it say that you're having
Whether Shulchan Aruch doesn't specify whether the turn their hands or their faces, but it's saying to go left to right, whatever. Upon reciting each of the 7 words, monitor towards the south and north to indicate that their blessings are intended not only for those standing directly in front of them, but also for those on the either side.
Oh.
Shulchan Aruch and Mishnah Berurah.
so they do that for that reason, right?
Right, which is what I
hear.
said. No,
Yeah, but a Mishnah Berurah brings that.
Mishnah Berurah 128.168.
Well, we are 128. You know how long 128 is? It's
I'm just
unbelievable.
reading it. I haven't looked it
Oh,
up.
yeah. No, I'll have to check. I Mamish did this in my regular Mishnah Berurah Seder last week. It's as if I didn't do it. Okay, so I'm a Rav Baravuna. Kivan Shav Niftach Sefer Torah. Now we have this a tangent. Since the Sefer Torah opens, also l'sapar afilu b'dvar halacha. You're not allowed to talk even in a dvar halacha. When the Sefer Torah is open, no talking even in a dvar halacha. Shenemar ubepischoi amdu kol ha'am. When he opened it, then everybody stood up, right? So, meaning this is talking about when Ezra came back, when they brought Klai Yisrael up from Bavel, right? Brought Klai Yisrael up from Bavel. So they took out the Sefer Torah and they read it. So there, everybody stood up. Vein Amida Elish Sikut. Amida doesn't mean to stand up, but that's the literal term. What it means is to be quiet. Shenemar Vaychalti Ki Lo Yidabru Ki Amdu Lo Onu Oid. Because Vaychalti means that he waited and they didn't speak, and they stood and they didn't answer anymore. Right? So Amdu means that they were quiet. Right? So therefore, there is absolutely no talking. There's no talking with. There's no talking when the Sefer Torah is out, even if you're talking in Divrei Torah. What about standing, Taka? What about standing? So the truth is, Me'ikar Adin, contrary to popular belief, Me'ikar Adin, you don't have to stand for Kriyas HaTorah. Right, the Machmirim hold that you have to stand. Not for Baruch Hu. This I think we discussed on Shabbos. Baruch Hu Hashem HaMavayrach is the Davar Shebekidusha. That you have to stand up for. The rest of the bracha, Asher Baruch Habanu, you don't have to stand up for, and the Kriyas HaTorah you don't have to stand up for. The Machmirim hold that you have to.
We saw this by the Shabbos year of Siyat.
Shabbos, right? Shabbos. So we discussed it on Shabbos. Yeah. Okay, but the bottom line is
talking. We discussed it in Halacha also. We discussed it in Halacha a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, I'm
yeah.
sorry. I meant the Kitzur. I apologize.
Oh, the Kitzur.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we said it in the Kitzur.
Yeah. So, right. So at the mic, but talking is mamish. You can't talk during the Kriyas HaTorah.
You're not allowed to catch up in davening either.
You cannot during the actual Kriyas HaTorah.
Okay,
yes,
I'm asking.
That's a good point, David. 100%. You cannot. Not only can't you catch up, if you're in the middle of Psukkah de Zimra, because you didn't skip, you came so late that you're not even in the parsha of skipping because you have no reason to skip. Then you have to stop Psukkah de Zimra to hear Kriyas HaTorah. Obviously, depending on if you're going to miss Mount Tefillah, right? But yeah, that's really what you have to do, right? Okay, so Reb Zeir Amar Chisda mehacha. He has a different shot. Now all the whole nation listened to the Sefer Torah. Fine. So that's a little tangent about Kriyas HaTorah. Fine. Any kohen who doesn't wash his hands cannot tuchen. Shenemar suyi dechem kodesh. For those Hasidim amongst us that say this after they wash for Natilas Yadayim, right? Suyi dechem kodesh. Right, so you have to lift up your hands and then you bench Hashem. So Mamela, that they have to have kedusha The Yedechem Kodesh. How do you get your hands to be Kodesh? By washing them. Right? So therefore, you have to wash your hands. Now the interesting thing here is, what's the makar that a Levi is supposed to wash your hands? Right? Levium. Right? Levium, what do you call it? Levium are supposed to wash their hands. That's a zoyer, right?
Isn't that just straight from the Torah?
Is it from the Torah? I think it's a zoyer. It's not brought in. It's not brought in the. Maybe the Torah brings it. I don't remember, but it's not. And then what about if the lady can't do it?
Wasn't it from the basic?
I never heard of the Levim have to wash their hands. I never heard that one before.
No, have to wash the Kohen's hands. So.
Is that how it works?
Right, that I know.
No. You're saying a good thing, Avrami. There's a tzad that the Levim, before they wash the Kohanim's hands, have to wash their hands. The Ramah says our minig is not to do it, but there are Levim that do. That they wash their hands before they wash the Kohen's hands. Yeah, a few. Huh?
I never did that before in my life, so I'm happy you said that.
So we don't do that. But what's the source? It's a zayah. It's a zayah that the Levim. What about a Bechar? If there's no Levim, so a Bechar is supposed to do it, right? I don't remember the source for that one. Right? But none of this stuff is beferish. Right? If a Kohen, what do they say? If there's no Levi to wash, then a Yisrael absolutely should not wash the Kohen.
No, you wash yourself. There's no Levium, the Kohen washes.
Aaron, we've had that, no?
That's a Bechor, no?
Yeah.
The Kohen's got to do his own dirty work.
Harvey Oliver Shalom did it, and then I did it after. Yeah.
Right. I remember, yeah.
Well, it's Bechor.
Didn't they do that in the base of Mikdash?
Right.
It's Bechor.
Yeah.
It's Bechor. But Yisraelim absolutely should not wash. It's like we're like the bottom of the pole. Yisraelim are mamish. We are mamish at the bottom. It says it's terrible things for Yisrael to wash a kohen's hands. Like we're totally not ready to do it. That's what the place can say. Okay.
It says it mentioned in Shulchan Aruch about washing the hands.
No, it's yes, but what's the source for it?
Oh,
it's not in this Gemara. It doesn't. You'd think if it was such a major thing, the Gemara should say the Kohen should have his hands washed by the Levi. It doesn't say that, right?
So if you don't have a Levi over there, and the only Bechor is a Mamzer, can the Mamzer wash the Kohen's hands?
You know what, Rachamim? Why don't you just do a Minchas Chinuch and say he was an Androginus? What about an Androginus?
I didn't get to that yet.
What kind of minion you got anyway?
What if you have a Bechor that doesn't have hands? You shouldn't wash. How's he washing them?
Good,
parrots, good parrots. How about a Kohen doesn't have hands?
Oh,
but then he
has a
and he washes feet.
Okay, we move on. Yeah, fine. So Shalu tell me that it's Rebbe Elazar ben Shavua. But me'arachta yomim. How come you were zeicha to have long life? Amalhen miyamai lo yasisi beis hakneses kapandaria. Even though I think the yeshiva way is to call it kapandria, right? But it's a kapandaria, which is a shortcut. He never made the shul into a shortcut, meaning you can cut across the shul, save yourself some time. That means in the actual besmerish. And I never stepped over the heads of the Am Kodesh because back then the Talmidim used to sit on the floor. So in order for him to get to this place, you'd have to step in between people. That's the way Rashi says it. It's in the different rows. So it looked like he's stepping over their heads. So that's belittling, right? So he never did that. So I don't know. Does that mean he went first? He was always in Besmerish first? Means he couldn't come late, right? Otherwise, how's he getting to his spot in the front? Okay, the loy nasasi kapi beloy bracha, and I did not duchen without a bracha first, right? So that's a major, yeah. Go ahead.
The Muncie Zayda had a great answer. When he was 98, whatever it was, he had a Richas Yamim. But somebody asked for a Baron, what's your Richas Yamim from? He says the Eibish Levat is auch Chivatinach upside the Chlazim Varten.
Very good. You want to explain that to the non-Yiddish speakers?
He says the Rebbeinu Shalom is waiting for me to do tshuva, and I have time. I'll let him wait.
Yeah, very good. Yeah. So yeah.
When I was by Rav Asher Arieli, he was still in the miklat,
downstairs in the main building.
Yeah.
So when he came down to shear, they left a space for him to get through. But that place was jammed while he gave shear. There wasn't space to sneeze in the mikvah. But they filled up after he walked in. The whole place.
They filled in the space.
Filled in the gaps. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, and in the class, and when he was in the dormitory, that was my days when he was in the dorm room. Okay, whatever. Anyway.
And now there's plenty of room.
No, well now because we took over the whole building.
Yeah,
it's still full.
I'm sure it is.
Yeah. But anyway, so the last one is the biggest kasha. He said, I didn't do duchening without a bracha. What's the chiddush about that? It's a mitzvah. You're supposed to make a bracha. That's why he had a long life. It's mashma that it's optional to make the bracha on duchening. Right? That's what it's mashma. Yeah. So okay, whatever the different pshatim that they say on this is, one of the basic pshatim they say is that what do you call it? When the mitzvah is a bracha, then you don't need a bracha. Right? So memela, right? So you have meaning. So the mitzvah is, even though it's not baruch atah Hashem, it's Yerech Hashem Yishmecha, but it's the concept of benching klal. So memela, you don't need a bracha on that. So that's birchas kriya shema. How come we don't make a bracha on Shema? Right? I think pshat is because birchas kriya shema. That's part of the mitzvah, birchas kriya shema. I don't know if that. And then there's someone even say that by the seder. How come we don't make a bracha on the seder? So because there's already the kiddush and this bracha is intertwined in the mitzvah. So memela, it's yeah. Okay, my mevarach. So what's the bracha? Amar Rab Zeira, Amar Rab Chisda, Asher Kiddushanu b'mitzvah, Asher Kiddushanu b'kedushasoy shel Aaron b'tzivanu levarach asama Yisrael b'yahava. It's pretty good. This bracha made it all the way through with no adjustments. Right? This is the bracha, universal as far as I know. Right? Universal bracha. Nobody changed it up. Fine. Ki okar kare, when they uproot their feet, that's literally means. Meaning when they turn around after they finish duchening my Omer, what do they say? There shouldn't be a michshol in an oven, which is also very interesting terminology. Meaning what michshol in an oven? You're giving somebody a bracha, right? It's one thing if you do a mitzvah, maybe you're afraid you did it wrong. Fine. All you're doing is giving a bracha. So what's the worst that happens? Your bracha wasn't a legitimate bracha because you didn't have them in mind. Okay.
Yeah, bracha matzah also. No, you don't want it to be.
No, you benched them. You said Yerech Hashem Yishmecha, so maybe you didn't have the right kavanah because you were thinking about.
That's what I'm saying. Then that would be bracha matzah, no?
If it's not, because you're still giving the bracha. Maybe you didn't have the right kavanahs. Okay, whatever it is.
Wait, the bracha itself could be an issue potentially, no? The first bracha is mumnus, right? Yerech Hashem Yishmerecha. So let it not be a michshol that someone has money that he doesn't know what to do with.
Yeah.
Money don't we say bracha zu? This bracha? It's going on the bracha, no?
Yeah.
You're saying the bracha. No. You're saying not the previous bracha. You
the
mean
bracha.
Oh, Naftali, you're frozen.
Did I break him?
Yeah.
Can't believe it.
It happens when you come twice in a row.
I'm trying to figure out who invited Naftali to share tonight. I'm just curious.
Last night we told him that it's a few days.
Told me what the topic was going to be. I got interested.
Yeah, last night we told him it's 3-4 days the Berachas Kohanim.
I got beef with whoever told him about this.
I'm sorry I broke you. I'm sorry I broke you. What were you saying?
I keep blanking out, so I missed the whole thing. So
is this stuff written? How did the Kohanim know to say this? It's not in the. It's in the Siddur.
Yeah, it's in the Siddur.
It's in the Arch Scroll Siddur.
Yes, before Kohanim. Yeah.
Okay.
No,
And then we also have
in
something-
every siddur after the Kahanim.
And there's also something we say after, also.
Yeah, that's right.
Right, we're
That's
getting
right.
to that in a minute.
I guess we're gonna get to that.
We're getting, David, I'm with you. I never paid attention to this at all.
I mean, I never had a reason to pay attention, but still, I never noticed it. It's in the center.
And I never knew about dreams, so we're there. We're even.
Right, exactly. That's exactly right. Yeah, that nobody. We're all selfish. We only know what's negaya to us, right? Anyways, okay. Fine. And when they turn their face back to the tzibur, right? I'm sorry, fakir. When they turn their face away from the tzibur, so what do they say? My Omar, right? Rav Chistel, Rav Uchva v'Doros. So Rav Chistel said to Rav Uchva and Darshan, Ribono Shel Olam, Asinu ma shegezarta aleinu. We did what you would geyser on us. Asay manu on the base now. Ma shetachtanu. Do to us what you said, what you gave a haftacha that you're going to do. Right, meaning that you're going to be masking to the bracha that we're giving to Klal Yisrael. Hashkiva ma'ayin kachacham and hashamayim. Look down from ma'ayin kachacha from the shamayim. Fine. Okay, so those are.
How do we have the gall to say something like that to Hakadosh Baruch Hu?
That's a good point, Simon. It's a good point. Let's see.
I don't know. Like I would probably smack my kids if they said something like that.
That's true, but I guess if you're a kohen, you have special rights to say these things to the Ribono Shel Olam.
We had a Gemara about this.
Don't we have this with tzedakah also? You could say, so Hashem.
Oh, that's testing. That's testing.
No, it could be, Simon, it could be the pshat that it's okay, because the Kohanim are not asking on behalf of themselves. They're saying the power you gave us in the bracha, make sure it comes true. But they're not asking for themselves.
I mean, it makes it a little better, but they are asking for themselves too. They're part of the kehillah, even though they're.
Well, we said yesterday's stuff said Habavarech Yisbarach,
Yeah.
right? The reason
they're literally just saying this is what you were maftiach us. They're not saying, they're not making demands that Hashem didn't give that Hashem didn't guarantee.
Yeah.
Hashem says it straight out. What do you mean the call? Hashem guaranteed that if you give brachas, I'll join with you in the bracha.
Right, they're saying we don't care what your cheshbon is, just make it come true.
They're saying, please take care. Please, come through with your guarantees. That's what you guaranteed. Why are they going above what Hashem already said? I'm not copying. What's
we
the
have
call?
a cheshbon. We don't know the
Hashem literally said, "Vani avarchem." What do you mean? That's what Rashi says.
Right.
That means Hashem is saying, when you give a bracha, I will attach my bracha to it. I don't understand. Where's the goal there?
No, because you're saying Hashem now live up to your words.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm saying it's a little.
They're not asking for more than Hashem already said He's going to give. Fakir, they're saying we believe that you will.
But
we're talking in and of itself.
Not to be
my pitch clock is over, man. The pitch clock is over. It's either a balk or a strike. Pick your choice.
Not to be mark too much, but
Too late for that, Simon.
Well,
you can take it on after the daf. You can stay
sorry,
on
parents.
with the Gershon.
Sorry, parents. You know what? You're right, parents. We shouldn't understand it. It's okay.
That's correct.
Okay.
Okay, we'll put it on ice till after. Yeah. Okay, so Amar Rav Chisda, Eina Kohanim Rishayim Lochav Kishrei Etzba Yisrael. Kohanim are not allowed to fold their fingers until they turn their faces back to the tzibur. Meaning, so you guys do this, Kohanim. You can tell us the secrets, right? Do you let your fingers loose, or you keep them there the whole time?
Personally, I keep them there.
Keep him there until he goes to
Really?
sleep.
You don't put your talus back?
No, only until I turn around.
Yes.
When do you put your talus back? After you turn around?
After I turn around. You stay in that position from the beginning, even in the beginning. You stay in the position, you turn around, and then you turn back around.
Yeah. You put your hands down till Sim Shalom.
Till Sim Shalom. You got to keep your hands like
turn around after Sim Shalom.
That's why some of these Bali Tefillah, they take their time, man. Hey guys, same. You're stuck with their hands up there while they're making kavanas on on another hero sign.
Ahmed, if you ever took it with my father and the guy does a delay, he screams no.
I guess he never took him by Lubavitch because he'd be doing a lot.
Yeah, but Aaron, your father's always a couple of steps ahead of the Chazan anyway.
Yeah. Okay. So Amar of Zeir, Amar of Chisda, Eina Kaira Shai Likreis Kaihanim. The Kaire, right, that we saw yesterday, that somebody has to read Kaihanim, is Eina Kaira Shai Likreis Kaihanim Achi Yichla Amen Mipi Atzibur, until the Amen is finished from the Tzibur.
Oh,
meaning you have to wait until the Tzibur finishes Amen before you could start with the Yivarechacha. Right? And by the way, that's with every Chazaras Hashatz. If anybody's a Chazan, you got to make sure that you can't start the next bracha before the Amen, before the Olam's finishing saying Amen. Right? Now, if you have one loner, every minyan has one guy who says his Amen really long. So that guy doesn't count. Right? But the Tzibur, though, does.
Because he doubles as the Baal Kaira,
Oh, no. So that's interesting that we'll get to that. We'll actually get to that. We'll try to get to it. The Kaihanim can't start the bracha. They have to make sure the Kaihanim is done from the Kaira before they start the bracha. And the Tzibur is not allowed to answer Amen. Right? The bottom line is everybody has to make sure not to rush too fast. And the Kaihanim can't start the next bracha, meaning Yivarecha Hashem Yishmerecha Amen. You're right. Amen. Fine.
What's with Am Kadeshecha Kalmur?
I don't know. Do we say that? Are we supposed to say that?
In some places. Nizar Sfard has it, I think.
Well, it's in the Hiratzin. The question is if the Tzibur says it or not.
It's mashma from here. They're not calling out every word.
I was going to say the same thing. Yeah,
that's a good point, Rachim. That's a very good point. That's Ma'ir Rachim saying it's mashma that the Chazan didn't say Yivarechacha and then they answer, because then the Gemara should have said they can't say Yivarechacha until it finished from the Chazan's mouth, and the Kahanim and the Chazan can't start till the Kahanim finish Yivarecha. It sounds like the Kahanim just said Yivarecha Hashem Yishmerecha, and then everybody just said Amen. I imagine
that, or maybe the Chazan's allowed to start while the Tzibur is still going.
What you mean? For them, we don't care,
right?
Why does the Chazan have to say it?
They do that sometimes, and it messes up the Kahanim. It does. It messes up the Kahanim because you're thinking of saying exactly that bracha, exactly those words, and when a Chazan decides he's going to jump the gun, you don't hear it because you're hearing Amen, and this guy's saying Yishmerecha, and he said, what did he say? Was it Via Verecha?
What I'm saying is, why does the Chazan have to say it at all? Why does the Chazan have to say that Yivarecha?
I don't know. I don't know what the source is. What is the source, Taka, that the Chazan says Yivarecha each one? What's the source?
Sure that
it's like Hala. We had in the Daf last week, right? There's different ways that the Tzibur does it together with the Chazan, right? So that was more like with Oz Yoshir, right? We're discussing Oz Yoshir. Right. So the Machlokes, how if it's pasuk by pasuk. I don't know, Taka.
I wonder if it's connected to not saying it in Chutz La'aretz.
What?
I wonder if it's connected to not saying Birchus Kainim in Chutz La'aretz. Now we have the Yiratzin that the Chazan says every day. It's part of that Yiratzin.
It's not just practical, so they know where they're up to.
That could be the reason. That could be. You want to make sure everybody's on the same page. That's what you're saying?
Yeah, that's what I always assumed.
Yeah. Well, they can't exactly point with their fingers.
Right. Well, that's for sure.
Yeah, but Icky, everybody would be on the same page anyway because you hear the Kohanim saying Yivracha Hashem Yishmerecha.
The way around. The Kohanim are repeating after the
I'm saying if the Chazan would not say it at all, and the Kohanim would get up there and say the bracha, well, you would know where you were up to. Why does you have to repeat it from the Chazan? That's what I'm trying to say.
Because they're all trying to sing for some weird reason.
They also, Naftali, who said they knew they knew what the bracha was? They only knew what to say. They repeated after the what's it called? There were plenty of Kohanim who were
now you're saying we're stupid.
Yeah.
Oh, somebody
Wait,
should come up with
Yaakov.
an inside talus with the words.
Could it be connected
Yeah.
to not reading, not saying a pasuk Baal Peh unless you're reading it? So the Chazan at least
Maybe.
is reading it.
Maybe Taka. I don't know. Naftali has the book over there, the handbook. We'll see what he comes up with. Nothing in there? Okay.
Nothing
Fine.
yet. I'll keep looking.
Let's go Kohen
Okay.
manual.
The Kahanim are now let it turn their faces from the tzibur. The Shliach Tzibur has to start at Sim Shalom, then they could turn it. Then they could turn it around, right? And they can't be oiker their feet until Sim Shalom. They don't step off the bima until they say Sim Shalom, right?
We know you have to wait till after Kaddish. Yeah.
Right. So the reason for that is, I think they say the reason for that is because otherwise there's going to be talking during Kaddish, right? Is that I think. People are going to say Yashikoyach and this and that.
I think it came from, I saw a Makar that it came from on Rosh Hashanah. We don't want the talking till after the Tekiyas.
And then from that it came. It came. I thought because also when you say Yashik, you say Shkoyach, and then they say Baruch Tiyas, and now that's Baltoisik.
Maybe we shouldn't be saying that.
Well, during Kaddish, for sure not.
Or maybe we shouldn't be saying it at all. I'm saying like he just did it.
And
Maybe
some people don't. Some people don't. But I don't know where I have this in my head from.
What shouldn't you say, David?
Shkoyach. When they get in the middle of davening, saying shkoyach to the
No, not in the middle of davening. After.
No, isn't that the famous Maisa with Reb Moshe by Tekiyas? Right after Sim Shalom, he said Shkoyach Kohen before the rest of the Tekiyas.
He did?
Yeah, every time. Well, there wasn't a hafsik.
Okay, I don't know. Anyways.
Well, it's easy for him to say because he can possibly.
Yeah. Yeah. Bye. The Rambam Zera of Chista. The tzibur can't answer amen at shetichla bracha mipi hakoyre. Right. This is about the kriyas haTorah. Right. Vein hakoyre r'shoy l'kriyas b'Torah at sheyichla amen mipi hatzibur, and they can't answer amen until amen goes from the tzibur. Same thing. Vein hamatargim r'shoy l'askel b'targum. The matargim can't start translating at sheyichla pasuk mipi hakoyre until the Baal Koyre finishes the pasuk. And the Kaira is not allowed to start Pasuk Acher until we go around the whole thing. Now here Rashi says that why can't you start the new bracha after the tzibur says, what's the big deal? Right? They're answering, what does that have to do with me? Right? Why can't I start saying the taich? Right? Why can't you? So Rashi says, Trey Koili loy mishtama. Because the problem is that two voices. You can't make out two voices at the same time. So therefore, it's neither one is going to be heard. So then you have a problem, right? Fine. Somebody who gets maftir has to get an aliyah too first, which is where maftir comes from. Meaning the person who's going to read the haftarah has to get an aliyah. Why? Because otherwise, we're going to think that the haftarah is on the same level as the regular kriyas haTorah, which it's not. So Mamela, that guy gets an aliyah, and then he can do the haftarah. The haftarah comes from when they banned Torah berabim. I don't remember what point in history. So what they did is they didn't ban Nevi'im. They didn't ban Nevi'im. So when they banned Torah, they said, okay, we're going to read Nevi'im berabim. That's why officially, unless otherwise noted, officially the haftarah is supposed to have at least 21 psukim, because 3 psukim is the minimum for each aliyah, times 7 is 21, right? Except there's a few parshas that don't have it, but most have the minimum of 20, right, for states, right? So keep us on our toes.
Right? We had that whole cheshbon.
Yeah, so 21, so that's where it comes from. So once they rescinded it and they allowed Torah to be read by Rabbim, the Chachamim decided to keep the haftarah anyways. But because of that, they didn't want anybody to think that the Haftarah is on the same level as the laning, so therefore you have to make sure he gets an aliyah, right? I'm not sure why couldn't they just give him shvi and then let him lane the Haftarah? Why did they have to give him an extra? Why? Anybody?
We had a while back. I don't remember if it was Tainus or whatever. We said that Maftir was not a chashuv aliyah.
Correct. That's why. That's why, because it's only there. Right. That's exactly it. But I don't remember why they have to do. Why couldn't they just give it shvi? I think we discussed it, but of course I don't remember.
I thought we said because Haftarah is its own chashuv aliyah. It's just not as chashuv as the Torah. So we make a juxtaposition, but really his aliyah is Haftarah.
Maybe. Okay, I don't know. Yeah, is that what we said? Okay, I don't know. Fine. This is a fascinating halacha. Right? Then Maftir cannot start with the Navi until he rolls the Sefer Torah. Meaning until the Galila is done properly. Why? Who cares? Why can't you start? So Rashi says, because the people that are wrapping the Magbia and the Goyla and the Magbia and the Goyla, right, are not going to be able to pay attention to the Haftarah. Imagine this should be our issue, right? Since they're not going to be able to pay attention, we make the whole tzibur wait until the Sefer Torah is wrapped, just so that one or two people make sure they pay attention to the Haftarah. Really? Can you imagine trying to pull that?
I thought it sounds as still. I thought it sounds as still to the Torah. But
some say that. Some say that, but Rashi doesn't say that.
Does that mean you shouldn't be giving it to a 10-year-old who's not going to be following the Haftorah anyway?
Well, that's the halacha. Hagoylel is gadol shebekulam.
Right.
Funny, over here you're making the tzibur wait, and the next halacha is covenant tzibur. You're making the tzibur wait, and then
that's a good point.
halacha is going to be about covenant tzibur.
What are you saying, Dr. Corman? Want to say something? Dr. Corman, you want to say something?
Yeah, sorry. It's the same reason why when you get an aliyah, you don't go down until after the next aliyah, because then when you're going down, you'll miss the lane.
Right. Oh, that's a good point, Tucker. Right. That's why you stay up.
Also, wasn't there supposed to be two people on either side of the Sefer Torah at all times?
One, you really need one. Two is a chumrah. Really one. But that has nothing to do with the girl. Maybe double what you're saying is if you give a 10-year-old, so maybe he doesn't have to listen, so then you could start right away. Yeah, we could do that.
But but it's not. It's for the Ashkenazim, the goyel is really the person doing Hagba. It's not true. The Sfardim are the ones who do the Galila as one person, and he's really the Magbia also. I don't think we look at the child as the goyel. Well, what about the person doing Hagba?
No, so when he's also
that'll be the same problem.
Right. You're right, 100%, 100%.
Okay.
What
about the times during the week? Do you have to wait for that also, or then you can start?
I don't think we wait. We don't wait. I mean, if a guy waits, he gets nude from the crowd, right? So for the Hiratzon, I don't think we wait because there is no mitzvah to hear it.
Wait for what?
Meaning, Naftali wants to say that the Yehi Ratzon, you say after laning on Monday and Thursday, do you do that while the Sefer Torah is being written?
Yeah, that's when you do it.
Right, but how come you don't? The people they won't. The Goylim won't be able to hear it.
Why because can't they hear it?
I'm saying the same reason they can't hear the Haftarah. They can't hear the
Haftarah. They have to look in. He wrote some. They're not saying it. The shots is saying it.
Right. They just have an answer Amen.
They're just saying. They're saying Amen.
Yeah, I hear that. I hear that. I hear.
I remember seeing someplace when I was down for Omer. I don't remember. I think you have shown it to me. I don't remember. But you should wait till it's closed at least. Not while it's open. It should be rolled.
I don't remember.
Well, you try that in certain minyanim, it's guaranteed lynching. So you know.
Oh no, I had it a few times.
Yeah. Okay.
So that nudnik running around giving everybody the haftarah when they have Hagbeh is something to him then.
Yeah, but they bring.
Or is that one guy running around making sure you have it? And you got Hagbah, and you're like,
yeah, it's from.
That's what I got to break.
It's from
You're right, Feretz. You're right. That guy. Yeah, that's true. That is true.
They bring down from the Pri Megadim that part that you don't actually need to fully cover it. You only need to roll it, have it rolled up, like Naftali just said.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, I know there was shitas that say that, right? But it's just rolled. That's it.
It doesn't need to be wrapped up and covered. Yes, all it needs to be is rolled.
But he's probably not going with the reason that they can't hear. He's probably going with the reason of the covered Torah.
That's the shita. I don't know why.
Yes.
Yeah.
It says in the notes.
Yeah. Okay, bye. The Rav Tan Chomer Rishu ben Levi ain't shliach tzibur rishoy lahafshit is a teva the tzibur. The shliach tzibur is not allowed to take off the teva. That's a literal translation. The tzibur. If they covered tzibur because of covered tzibur. So basically, what this means is that they, the way Rashi says, they used to keep the Sefer Torah in private houses, and they used to bring it to shul for the davening. So then they would take, like a paroiches, to make it look nice, and they would cover it over, and then they would take it down. They would take it down after the davening. So you didn't do that when the tzibur was still there after the laning and make everybody stay in shul longer. You did it later. Now it's covered at tzibur, right? The tzibur is not allowed to leave. This is halacha that many people are not aware of. We paskin like this. You're not allowed to leave until the Sefer Torah is put back in the aron. From when they take out the Sefer Torah, you are not allowed to leave Besmerish. Finished. Now, if it's a major tzarech, bein gavra legavra, you could leave, but it has to be a major tzarech, right? So this is negeya to this in davening in Ashkenaz meaning is easier because they put the Sefer Torah back before Asher V'Alotzion. But if you daven in Nusach Sfard meaning, they don't put the Sefer Torah back until after Asher V'Alotzion. So you're really stuck there unless you're mamish in a rush. You really can't leave. Shmuel Amar until it goes.
Are you posking against Kiddush clubs then?
Don't ask what you don't want to know.
The truth is, Simon, it's a good point. This Amud should be go down as the anti-Kiddush club, right? Because if you can't start the Haftarah because we're afraid that the guy doing the Galila can't pay attention, so for sure you can't go out to a Kiddush club, right?
But if the guy's an alcoholic, then it's a tzarech gadol.
Or maybe to pay more attention to Haftarah, you need something to help you.
Okay, so then you should do it during the Mishaberas and hope that there's enough.
I don't know if it's an exact stira. The guys who go out for Kiddush Club are afraid they will understand something. That's why they leave.
Oh, okay, maybe. But anyway, you can't leave though during when the Sefer Torah is open. Simon is right. Yeah, fine. The light pligi. So now there's two pshatim here.
Give him a ride back to the bar.
What?
When is Meir go over there for?
I don't know. Now it's read. Fine. But like pligi, so meaning there's two pshatim here until the Sefer Torah gets put away or until it goes out. But like pligi, one's talking about where there's another door to the shul, and one is talking about where there isn't another door to the shul. Meaning, if they're gonna have to go out the main entrance and that's the only way out of the shul, so then you gotta wait till the Sefer Torah goes out that way. But if they start taking the Sefer Torah out the back door, then that already means that the Sefer Torah is done with, and you can go out the other exit. Fine. Amar Rava Barahina Asberali Acharei Hashem Elokeichem Telechu. You should go after Hashem, right? So wait when obviously the Sefer Torah is representing Hashem. Fine. Bisman Shakahanim Bevarchim Esa'am Mahinonim. When the Kahanim benched the what are they saying? So Amar Rav Zeir Amar Rav Chisda Baruch Hu Hashem Malachav Gibarei Koyach. Baruch Hu Hashem Kol Tzvaka V'Shasav Oiser Etzayne. Baruch Hu Hashem Kol Ma'asav B'Chol Mekomis M'Shalti Baruch Hu Nafshi Es Hashem. So basically, the Sidurim do have this in the fine print. By Yivarechacha, it brings a bunch of psukim, and then by what's the next one? Yivarecha Hashem, Yishmerecha, it has all these psukim. We don't say it, which we'll see in the number Aleph. In Musafi the Shabbos of mine. What about Muslim and Shabbos? Meaning, Muslim and Shabbos is an extra duchening. So what do they say then? So Ravasi Shir Amalei Sine Baruch Hu Hashem Kol Avdei Hashem Su Yidechem Kodesh Baruch Hu Hashem Baruch Hashem Mitzion Shechin Yerushalayim Haluka. So the Gemara says, "V'leima nami yivarecha Hashem mitziyin dechsiv be'ahu anyana." Why doesn't it say there's another yivarecha to say? So Yehuda Breder Rav Shimon ben Pazi v'toishu hiskel be'brachos shel HaKadosh Baruch Hu Messiah be'brachos shel HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Since you already started with the brachas of the Rebbeinu Shalom, so we're also Messiah with the brachas of the Rebbeinu Shalom, right? But don't meaning even though there's another bracha in that pasuk, but we rather stick with uniformity. Fine. So by mincha, by a tinus on mincha, what do they say? So that needs a little bit of background because do you duchen on mincha by a tainus or not? Says yesh v'yesh. How come we don't duchen by mincha stam every day? How come we don't duchen by, meaning obviously in Eretz Yisrael they duchen every day. How come they don't duchen by mincha? Because of drunkenness. People drink during the day, and Kehanim might get up and duchen when they're drunk. So therefore they said no duchening by mincha. But on a tainus, there's no drinking. You hope, right? So therefore there's no duchening. I mean, they should be duchening. So some say it's a loy plug that once we don't duchen, so we don't duchen, which seems to be some. It's a yesh v'yesh, but from this Gemara it's mashma you do duchen by mincha on a fast. So my Amri, what do you say? Amar Rav Acha bar Yaakov im avaynenu anubanu Hashem asay leman shemecha mikveh Yisrael Mashiach be'ez.
The biggest shaila would be Yom Kippur from Mincha and Nila.
Right, so that we do. Right, Nila we do. Nila they do. We're going to get to it. So mikveh Yisrael Mashiach be'ez tzara lama siya kiger va'aretz. Fine, lama siya ki'ish nidham kigibor la'yuchal le'shia. Fine, those are the ones for mincha. Weiter onto Amud Aleph. Now, but Neila, the Yom Kippuri. What about Nila and Yom Kippur? Right. The Tosfos asks, what about Nila on a fast day? Back then, when they had fast days because of droughts, they made Nila also. That wasn't. So Tosfos doesn't know why the Gemara doesn't discuss that. So my Omar, what do you say? So Amar Zutra v'Ami Lovim Masnisa. Hine kichen yivarach Gever Yirei Hashem Yivrach Hashem Etzinu Rei B'Tuv Yishalayim Kol Yimei Chayach. I think that's a song of the Daf Peretz. Figure from all these psukim you got to get at least one, right? Unen Urei Vanim Levanecha Shalom HaYisrael. There you got another one, right? That's
tomorrow's song of the Daf.
That's true. That's tomorrow's song of the Daf. Very good. We got the point of it. We'll finish in a second. I'm just thinking, should we? Okay, you know what? We'll stop over here. But again,
if you daven in the white soul, the Balkaira used to sing Hashkifa. It was mamish like a song, so that could be considered a song of the Daf.
I hear. Okay. I hear.
Anyway. Now, Simon, you had a problem understanding. Just think of it as a dead baby. Just throw a dead baby on it.
Well played, sir.
Aaron, that's why your cousin parents can never duck.
Because he's south at 8 o'clock in the morning.
I was gonna say you can't go up as a drunk man, you know.
Yeah.
Look at this guy. He's quoting Shulchan.
I'm reading Art Scroll. I'm not saying anything myself.
Like Rabbi Feiner on Daf Yomi Sotah, the fifth line from the bottom. Look at it. Good line with handout.
Hey, listen, No, but if you want to look it up, because I'm not.
Rabbi Aaron, you had a story about Rav Moshe. What were you saying?
Yeah, just quick, because Aaron said his father should live and be well, and Geshem said something about Rav Moshe. So I went one Matzi Shabbos to the Yehudi convention with Rav Yehuda, and Rav Moshe already was not well. So they announced before he spoke that nobody should come over to him after he speaks. So since I read Catch 22, so I said, Mamonusha, if everybody goes, so I'm not going to go. And if nobody goes, so what's one needle goes over to him. So he finished speaking. They had two gaboim. I don't remember who they were, and they schlepped him. And I followed them. They went, and he wasn't staying in the room near the ballroom. He had to go about, 14 different ways. When I kept up with them, and when he got to the room, they had to turn to the room. So I jumped in front of him, and I said, "You're good to vach Rosh Yeshiva," and he said, "Good vach, a good shah." So I got that. I was the only guy to get that.
Oh, there you go.
You're saying everybody listened but you.
That's a great
right.
story.
Yeah, no, and I got this. And just to show the difference, I learned that between Litvish and Rebbe's, they didn't take the television out of his room. We had a television in his room, and I saw when they opened the door, the television was right there.
That's a great.
He was getting into the Saturday.
Now that you should have started the story off with that.
I had a similar thing happen to me. One of the last Rosh Hashanahs he was alive, they made an announcement also, no one should come to wish the Rosh Hashiva Gid Yom Tov. He's not feeling well. We're taking him right out of base medrash, and 40 kids lined up to wish the Rosh Hashiva Good Yontif. I stayed in my seat in Staten Island. When he was walking out, he came over and he asked my father, "Why didn't I get in line with all the other boys?" I said, "Because they made an announcement." He listened, so he stopped and he gave me a whole long bracha in Yiddish, which I didn't really understand.
Very good.
Nice, nice.
Now you know why you are what you are now. That was the bracha.
That's why I was able to join this special daf with all the Gedol.
There you go.
Ja, Chicago Chavre, I get to Nacht.
I get the Nacht, I get the